Today's topic, we're talking about goals, getting 2021 off to a good start so that you can have and be everything you want to be. Welcome to the Enhance Your Health podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Green, and you can join us each week where you will learn practical ways to enhance your overall health, physical and mental, along with special guest episodes from experts around the world. New episodes out each week on Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for tips and action steps so that you can become the master of your health and life. And remember, this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. You should always check with a healthcare professional before trying any new health protocol. It's time to enhance your health. Hey everybody, Dr. Michelle Green here with Enhance Your Health podcast. Super excited as always for today's episode. It's been a few weeks since a new episode has been released, and as the new year has come in, some exciting changes have been happening in my life, which I'll share really quickly. The virtual clinic is still open. You can still be a member of the Enhance Your Health clinic, and a new in-person office doing network spinal chiropractic care is now open here in the Lafayette, Colorado area. So if you're in the area, check it out, message me or let me know, and we can set something up for you. All right, today's topic, we're talking about goals, getting 2021 off to a good start so that you can have and be everything you want to be. Let's start off with our quote of the week. And this week's quote, it's kind of interesting because it's one of my favorite quotes, but it's kind of a mystery of who said it because there's so many names on it. I saw Tony Robbins, I saw Michael Beckwith, I saw a few other people as the author of this quote, so I'm not really sure who said the quote, but where attention goes, energy flows. We're going to talk about that and how that works with your brain and the psychology of your brain, and when you set intentions, what that does, as well as how do you set goals that are going to help you actually get to where you want to go. How do you set goals that are clear enough, that your intention is clear enough so that you really can get to that place? We're going to go over all of that. Now realize every second, including this second, you have 2 trillion bits of information coming at you every single second. An enormous amount of information is coming at you, and your brain has to process it. However, it can't process all that information, so it deletes a vast majority of that information, and you actually only process 126 bits of the 2 trillion bits of information that come at you every second. How do you decide what 126 bits of information? It's whatever your focus is on, whatever your attention is on. Then once that 126 bits of information goes in, your brain then not only deletes the other bits, but it also generalizes and it also deletes certain things. So generalizing is really a great thing for learning. When you generalize information, that way you can take a complex topic and really just generalize it so you have a general understanding. So generalization is really good for that. But it can also lead you to miss certain aspects of whatever it is of that topic. And then distortion, you may distort that information depending on your value system, your energy state in that moment, the way that you feel, the way that you have a relationship maybe with that thing or person or whatever it is that you're receiving into your brain, that information. So we delete, we distort, and we generalize this information based on a lot of different things. And we only take in a teeny tiny little piece of the trillions of bits of information coming at us. Now, why does this all matter? Great question. It matters a lot when you're talking about goals because this is where intention comes from. Quote we just mentioned, where attention goes, energy flows. So think about it like this. Just a couple of examples just to drive this point really home so you understand it. Think about when you buy a new car. Let's say you bought a brand new blue truck. And you're driving around in your blue truck and all of a sudden you see the same blue truck everywhere. You see it everywhere that you go. Is it because there's more blue trucks on the road? Or is it because your attention and your subconscious is more open to that type of truck now and you see it more on the road? They've always been there. You're just more open to seeing that because now your awareness is open to a blue truck and you see it on the road. Another example too is if somebody, you might have seen this where two people are having a conversation and one person asks, hey, for example, what's for dinner? The other person, depending on the state that they're in and depending on where they're at, they may respond in a way that is, what do you mean what's for dinner? Why don't you figure out what's for dinner? Or get some type of message depending on the state that they're in. Or maybe that person says, hey, what's for dinner? And that person is in such a great mood, such a great place, and really super energetic. And that person says, I don't know, let's figure out what's for dinner together. Let's create something. So that's just an example for how there could be two different ideas of what something says. It's the same information that person is processing, just depending on where that person is at. That's what they're going to receive and that's what they're going to take in. So just some examples of how our brain really takes in and deletes and distorts and generalizes information. Now, why is this important? Setting intention is so important because when you set your intention, that is when that 126 bits of information is directed to then see the opportunities around you. So it helps you filter the information that you're receiving so that the 126 bits of information actually taking in out of the 2 trillion is the information that you want to take in, and that's putting you on that trajectory to reach and achieve that goal. So intention is so important. Now, how do you write clear intentions? How do you write clear goals? Well, let's go over that. It's an important thing to know, and it's an important topic and understanding to have just as a life skill and to have the best quality of life that you can have. And this is not only important for health, right? Enhance Your Health podcast, but it's important in all aspects of your life. And you want to really have a goal or an intention in all the different categories, in your health, in your finances, in your career, family, relationships, all of these different categories, travel, it could be leaving a legacy, it could be items, it could be things, it could be spirituality, whatever it is that you want goals in, it could be all of those things or some of those categories. You want to have an active goal in all of those things, all of those paths that you really want to focus on. So there's something called SMART goals. SMART goals, SMART is an acronym. SMART is an acronym, S-M-A-R-T. It all stands for something different, all of those letters. And it's just an easy and fun way to remember what things to kind of check off as you're making goals. When you're writing goals and intentions, a really important thing is to make sure that if you wrote down your goal and you handed it to someone else could understand it. That's how clear you want your goal to be. You want it to be so clear that you could hand it to anyone in who speaks your language, I guess, and they would be able to understand exactly what you want, how you're going to get it, maybe not exactly how, and we'll go over all that, but when you're going to get it and know all of those things. So we're going to go over SMART goals. Before we do that, here are some things to think about before you write your intentions. So just have in your mind. First thing, aim for excellence. You know, when you were in school and you were taking a test, let's say you only needed maybe a 75%. Would you go in there and study for a 75%, or do you study for 100%? And then that way, if you miss a few, you're okay. You're still above that threshold of 75 that you need. And remember, we don't want to just be in a place where we're getting what we need. We also want to thrive. Survival versus thrival. We want to thrive too. So aim for excellence and you'll be surprised what you can achieve. You really will be surprised what you can achieve. And then I really encourage you to write down your goals. Even if you're making a vision board and you want to write, you have pictures that symbolize what your goals are, but you want to write down certain things to really solidify certain aspects of your goal, do it. Writing down your goals is so important. And what it's doing is it's taking something all jumbled in your mind, something that you want, and it's really putting it down on a piece of paper and it's putting it into a physical form so that it can just even more snowball into the actual physical. Write it down, write down your goals, and we'll go over how to write down your goals as well. So let's start with SMART goals. We got S, M, A, R, and T. S stands for simple and specific. So let's start with specific. Again, you want your goal to be specific. You want it to be specific enough that people would be able to understand what your goal is. And you also want your goal to be simple. You want to be able to leave room for enough flexibility so that you have an end goal in mind, but the journey, you may not have it all figured out, or you may need to adapt at certain times. So make it specific, make it simple. M stands for two things. First one is measurable. Make your goals measurable. I cannot stress this enough. And I'll give you some examples, but you want to make it measurable. And this is going to really make a difference. When I'm talking about measurable, we can go through a couple examples, but one of them is when you write your goals, you are going to want to have some type of way of knowing that you achieve that goal. So if you want to have a better relationship with your partner, what does that look like? Does it mean that you have 5 dates a month, or 1 date a week, or 2 dates a week? How does that look? What does that look like to you when you reach that goal? How can you measure it and know that you achieved it? People who maybe want to lose weight. Instead of writing, I just want to lose weight. Well, how many pounds do you want to lose? Pounds of what? Do you want to lose fat? Do you want to lose pounds of muscle? You got to get specific and clear, but also have a number so that it's measurable. Maybe you just want to get fit. I know one of my goals this year was to make sure that I work out 5 times a week. Sometimes I can get really busy, and that's one of the first things that I just throw out the window. So I want to move every day, at least 5 days a week for 30 minutes. Just move. That's all I want to do. Move my body. That's what my goal is, and that is how I measure it. 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week. So make sure to figure out how you know when you've achieved it. Now, the second part of the M is meaningful to you. Make sure that it's meaningful to you. What is your why? How is this going to mean something to you? So when you write it, you can say, I achieved this because, and you want to have that because statement in there, that why statement, and that's going to add meaningfulness to you and really add a spark to it and an emotional connection to your goal. So make sure it's meaningful to you. A is a fun one. A stands for as if now. And it also stands for 2 other things, but starting with as if now, when you write your goals, write it as if it's now. Write it as if it's already happened. Present or past tense, you want to write it in, not future tense. So for example, if we go off that workout example, I would say I work out 5 times a week for 30 minutes a day because I want to feel good and etc. But I would write it as if it's already here or if it's already happened. So as if now. The other part of the A is achievable in all areas of your life. So achievable. Is this goal achievable? Is there someone who's achieved this goal that you can model what they've done? So that might require a little research, but that might also be really helpful for you to see if it's achievable. Maybe talk to other people that have achieved something like this and what works for them, and to give you an idea of something to model. And that's a good way to be successful in your goals also. And then all areas of your life, you want to make sure that this goal is going to be good for all areas of your life. It's a good check to do to make sure that it's not contradicting any other goals or any other areas of your life. And you want to make sure and check that it is going to be congruent in all aspects of your other goals and your life. So R stands for responsible and realistic. So starting with responsible, are your goals good for you, good for everyone else, and good for the world. So you want to make sure it's a responsible goal, good for everyone involved and even the world. So you want to make sure it's ecological. You want to make sure it's good for you, good for me, good for everyone and the world. And then we have the other part of R, which is realistic. And realistic also is similar to achievable, but you want to make sure it's realistic and that it is something that you know you could do and you feel good about it. You want to stretch yourself a little bit. At the same time, you want to make sure that you're realistic. And then T stands for time. So you want to set a date. The more specific with the date, even time, the better. You want to be able to say it is January 30th, 2022, and I worked out 5 times a week for 30 minutes a day, and I did it because I felt so good, and I feel so good now because I did that, and I'm so happy with the way my body moves and feels, and that's kind of an example. So you want to give yourself a date and a timeline and have a goal for that. And then finally, the other part of T, and we've talked about this in Mindset for Health episode, how to have a mindset for extraordinary health. You want to be going toward what you want. So the other part of T is toward what you want. A lot of times, and this happens with health all the time, we try to get away from something. There's a difference between getting away from something and going towards something. Getting away from something has a different energy and a different feel than going towards something. So a lot of people, they tend to go away from what they want instead of going towards something. So let me ask you this. When you're driving in a car, where is your focus? Is your focus in front of you or is your focus behind you? There's a reason that the front mirror is 90% of your view and your rear view mirror is only 10%, because that 10%, that rear view mirror, you don't really need to pay attention to that. You want to look at the road where you're going and you want to go towards your destination. Otherwise, that's not going to be very good if you're looking in your rear view mirror the whole time. It's the same thing with goals. What is it that you want? Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. So is your attention back here on the things you don't want, or in front of you on the things you do want? So if you're trying to lose weight, what is it that you want to gain? If you're trying to get away from having less than ideal relationship, instead, how do you want your relationship to be? If you want abundance and money, are you trying to get away from poverty, or are you trying to go towards wealth? These are the things you want to ask yourself, and you want to make sure that you're always going towards what you want. It's going to make a huge difference. So that is how you write SMART goals. Super fun, super great way to really get your intention clear. And when you get to your goal, you want to celebrate. Remember, be in that celebration mindset. And actually, when you're about 90 to 95% all the way to your goal, that's the time to really celebrate. And sometimes when we get so close to our goal, we could start to lose momentum. So when you're at that 90 to 95% of completing that goal, that place right there where you almost achieved it, that's when you celebrate. That's when you create a new goal. Sometimes we can lose momentum when we are just so close to the goal. So if you're starting to feel that, that's when you create a new SMART goal. And then finally, let go of the form. Let go of knowing exactly how you're going to achieve it. It's good to have a plan, but also leave room for flexibility. There are no such thing as failures. There's only feedback. And that feedback is going to give you the information to be able to shift and to adapt so that you can get back on track to reach the goal you want. I'll repeat it again, there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. And that's really important to know. When this pandemic hit in March, I know a lot of people, they had to shift what they were doing. They had to adapt. So it's important to be adaptable. If things, seem to be going wrong and not going towards your goal, maybe that's time that we shift something or that you change something and adapt to whatever it is at that situation. So make sure that you're being adaptable and flexible and letting go of the form as well. And as always, if you have health goals, you just want to be the best version of yourself, then of course my virtual clinic is open. Maybe 2021 is the year you want to go plant-based. I do plant-based coaching as well. And if you're in the Lafayette, Colorado area or the Denver, Boulder area as well, in between those two places, definitely come check out the office. I can help you reach your health goals. I'm here for you however you need. And now it's time for the weekly challenge of the week. So this week's challenge, I'm sure you could guess, write down your goals. Write down your goals in as many categories as you please. Either write them down or create a vision board. You can create a vision board if you're more of a visual person and you like pictures. Do pictures. You can write your goals next to it. Read them every day, okay? So this week's challenge, just write them down. Write them down or create a vision board and put them somewhere where you can see them or read them every single day. Remember, where your attention goes, energy flows. So make sure that you are really having your intention set and your mindset on whatever it is that you want, so that we can have the best 2021 together collectively. We deserve it, especially after last year, but we really deserve it. And you deserve to achieve all the goals that you set out to achieve. And I hope this helps. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And make sure to share it if you feel like this could help someone. Share to your friends, your family, whoever you think this may help. Feel free to share the link with them. Also, if you want more information about my services, virtual clinic, you can go to drmichellegreen.com. You can also receive a free vegan plant-based nutrition guide, totally free, on my website, drmichellegreen.com. And also follow me on social media. I'd love to connect with you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and actually now Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse, connect with me at Dr. Michelle Green. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear about your goals, to see what we can achieve together in this upcoming year. New episodes will be coming out. Watch out for those. We're going to have some great topics this year, some great guests. I know we already have a guest scheduled to teach about vertical farming, so you can have great plants and nutrition growing in your own house. And we have some other great topics coming up as well. So can't wait to explore these different topics with you, and feel free to let me know if there's a topic you want me to cover. I'm super grateful for you all, excited, and it's time to enhance your health.